right. Good evening. Welcome to the April 11, 2024 Airport Advisory Board meeting. Call it to order. Kayla, would you call roll?
Yes. Chairperson Harrison Earl. Vice Chairperson Melinda Jordan.
Here.
Board Member Malcolm Dean.
Here.
Board Member Kala Salamatian.
Here.
Board Member Steve Shook. Board Member Dan Meester.
Here.
Board Member Matthew Menza.
Here.
City Council Member Marsha Martin. Here. We have a quorum.
Thank you. We would let's see. We would normally do public invited to be heard, but everybody out there indicated they did not want to speak tonight. So we're going to go ahead and pass right on by that and go to approval of the minutes. So we have the February 2024 minutes, and I didn't see any edits in there. Did anybody else?
No, I didn't either.
Could I get a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll motion to approve.
Malcolm motions to approve. Get a second from Matt Mensa. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the February 2024 minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Against? Nay? All right, they have been approved. Next item, as we cruise along at a clip, updates from our airport manager. Over to you, Levi.
All right, got some few things to update that have occurred since last time. Looking at the minutes last time we talked about getting mowing contract. Those did go out for RFP, and we did select mowing individual. The name of the company escapes me at the moment, but we have made a selection on them. Yeah. We'll be going ahead to some conferences. We talked about that at the last Airport Advisory Board meeting. AAA conference in Nashville's coming up the end of April, and then, of course, the local Colorado conference will be coming up in July, and that's going to be, I want to say, is in Eagle, Colorado this year. And then also going to try, in lieu, unfortunately, we can't make the sustainability conference this year because of the air show. We'll be doing the General Aviation Airport Managers Conference. That's coming this August. What else do I got? Recently released, in fact, last week by the FAA, they've announced that they have some discretionary grant dollars that they're going to start giving out. So jumped on that and had a talk with the engineers. We think that the project that we potentially have that could best be competitive for monies like that would be the LED transition from the runway over to, standard incandescent to LED. So they're currently writing that up. The deadline for that is May the 4th for getting those applications in. So, cross your fingers, knock on wood. You can't get it if you don't apply for it. Let's see. I'm sure we'll be talking out the air show in a little bit. Other big things, still moving forward with wildlife fence completion this year. That's moving along at a kind of a steady rate. That'll be an entitlement project, so we'll be using entitlement monies that we've gotten from the FAA for completing that. Just signed an agreement with Ayers Consulting Engineering to do a master drainage review of the south side of the airport and general review of the whole airport. With the idea behind that being, I'm sure I talked about this a little bit last time too, any future development on the airfield will require drainage improvements, most likely. That's been one of the hang-ups, the major hang-ups I have been here. People come, they'll propose a project, the city will kind of hem-haw on what they want to do on the drainage. And they say, well, you might need to do this, you might do that. So we're having a review done so that we know exactly when it's be done. If the city needs to take on those responsibilities and do it, I've tentatively had those conversations with the city that said that they may be willing to do that so we can get that project taken care of so we can have potential development on the airfield. That work is supposed to be completed by the 1st of June. So that should be a quick, but in our realm of engineering and doing projects quick, little assessment done. At that point, we will then decide whether, whether additional projects need to be taken on to improve drainage or how we may proceed forward. What else did I have? I had one other thing that I didn't write down that I was going to talk about. Alexa's opened the food truck back up. That's what it was. I'm very happy. She's making fresh hamburgers this year that are really, really good. And I've heard excellent things about her breakfast tacos. Were there any questions on any of the update items?
When will I saw the helicopter there last night. When is the wildland training?
So wildfire training has begun. It started, today is Thursday. It started yesterday.
Okay.
And they'll be doing probably at least a couple days per week of having a presence here on the airfield over the course of, I want to say, 3 weeks. Their 2 heavy training days will be the 17th and the 18th. So they'll probably have a couple Chinooks, 3 or 4 Blackhawks, a couple Kiowas, stuff like that out there on the ramp. So yeah, we're already seeing this week a spike of people coming out to watch the helicopters and stuff like that. So if anyone's interested, certainly swing by. Those guys usually love talking to people too. So they get tours of the Blackhawks if you want, stuff like that.
Nice.
Most probably, I can't promise that. But
Any other questions?
I really like your shirt.
oh yes, thank you. I forgot about that. I guess that's something else I got to update on. So we did do a very small Longmont Airport shirt purchase. I think we got 4 or 5 shirts all together. 2 for me, 1 for Matt Menziv with Public Works because he does some events with me, and then 1 for Phil Greenwald also, just in case he's doing airport events too. So we do have some official representation. That's one thing that was kind of lacking, that kind of stuck out when we were going to conferences and stuff. Like everyone had like a City of Airport shirt, and we kind of didn't. So we made a little small order there. We got these in jackets that have the airport logo on it too.
If you make more, I would love.
Oh, that's certainly something to keep. And we actually already kind of tossed that idea around, is maybe we should do a quick order, do like a little airport swag kind of order, just to kind of have some stuff on hand.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the line contract, you have a finalized cost for the year? What's the cost?
You know, that Matt was actually just filling that out today. I could check on that for you and get it what it was. We did go with, of course, the lowest on that. And I'm also excited about it because the gentleman that bid on it that was lowest also seemed to be the most engaged to me. So I was kind of happy that he got picked and that he was also the lowest. But I'll get you a cost, what that wound up to be. I'll get that from Matt.
I'll add to that. That was the referral I sent you. And
Yes, yeah.
I was thrilled to hear he got it.
Yeah,
so-
he was super nice. He was
Yeah.
the most engaged.
Yeah.
He came out, he walked everything. He was really passionate about, and I think it's a new business, right?
He purchased Harvey Jackson's business,
Okay.
so a very old existing business. That
So
he
he's a
purchased.
takeover, if
He
you
is.
will.
And
Yeah.
he mows all the hay from for the Zwex and all that area. He mows all that hay.
Okay, so he works for the
And,
Zwex
yeah,
also.
so he's over there and he knows the terrain
Excellent.
and all the pits and potholes. And
Yeah, he
stuff.
was really nice,
Yeah.
super engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's a hardworking party of one. So
Yeah.
that's why he was able to be the lowest bidder, because he has all the equipment. He usually maybe has one other person work with him, but
Mhm.
he'll do it all. So it may take him the whole day to get it done, but he'll get it done.
Which is fine because honestly, my most positive experience is when we had a similar setup like that before.
Yeah.
An older gentleman that had his own equipment, and he just kind of came out and did it. And it took him a couple days, but it was still easier than scheduling other people, and it got done quicker in reality.
Yeah.
So hopefully it'll be a similar type of
You will
setup.
have a good experience, yeah. I
Yeah.
can vouch for him for sure. Any other questions for
For
Levi?
the snow removal for the year, how much did you spend on the snow removal?
I can, I apologize, I don't have a figure for that either, but I can get that for you also.
A couple of different storms. So.
Yeah, I know that we were actually under budget this year on snow, because that was actually came up when we were going over budgeting stuff and stuff like that. So that's good. In fact, if I recall correctly, under budget to the point where we were talking about reducing it by $15,000 or so. So that'll be good. I want to say at the end of the year it turned out to be closer to $20,000 total for snow removal, which was significantly under what we had budgeted for before. So that would be good. But that's estimation. Yeah.
That's too bad the weather's predictable.
Yeah. That's the way it goes. I mean, all we can do is kind of be the best of what we can get.
On the wildfire training, who is it officially that's out there?
I want to say that's technically, well, it's a lot of different uses. It's the Colorado National Guard.
Okay.
And then it's also the forestry department, and then we've also got local firefighter representatives out there. So it's a mixed bag of folks in and around there.
And then are there any other, I know it's the Helena helicopters, but they're usually branded for the Helena team, but are there any people that come from out of state?
That I can't speak on with any clarity. I know that it's a Colorado venture. I don't know if they have anyone else that's participating,
Speak
but
up.
not. I can safely say not on a larger scale if there is.
Okay. There'll be some discussion on next door, no doubt.
Yes, there already has been.
Has there been already? Yeah. And the people don't realize what that brings in, just that it brings in meals because Alexa feeds them. They go to they go around the area and eat. They're staying.
Yeah,
The
Alexa's
fuel-
hoping to make half of her profits for
the
the
year.
year over the next 2 weeks,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
So-
So the public really doesn't realize what an impact hosting something like that has on the economy. And always want to be sure and say something to that effect when the opportunity arises. And the fuel, just.
Lots of fuel cells.
Lots of fuel. So,
And I can report positively that things are going pretty smoothly with fuel cells. The trucks have been running well this year, so that's good.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you.
I received a letter from the Boulder County Assessor that was specifically addressed to me as Secretary of my Hangars Corporation. They're requesting physical inspections of properties, leases, any rental information for any of the hangar leases, property descriptions, et cetera, for an assessment which I had no previous knowledge of. Does anybody on the board have any information on this?
Should we talk about that on section 9, or should we? Yeah. What's the the procedure for? Oh, there are 2 9s. Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about it here, and then Steve is sort of our resident expert
Yeah.
with,
Yeah. I wish Steve was here.
Do you get the LOPA
I get the
emails?
LOPA,
Okay, and because he just had
Lopa's response was ignore it,
ignore it. Yeah.
which may or may not be sage advice.
Right.
Wouldn't it be most likely to be a response to an appeal that happened during the assessment window, in which case ignoring it would be the absolute wrong thing to do?
Well, it says, dear property owner, in preparation for an upcoming 2023 tax year Board of Assessment appeals.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the preface, so I don't disagree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's always not a good thing to avoid anything that could potentially affect your property assessments.
Right. Yeah.
If there's a shot that things could get assessed downward, that would benefit everybody.
That's the goal.
Classification, right?
One would hope. We've mentioned that in meetings past, but it's gone beyond the local level or local county level.
Yeah.
So I think what, for lack of expertise on the subject, let's note it and then let's go ahead and put it on for next month's agenda. And we'll see if Steve Shook will be here and if he has stuff to contribute on that.
Or certainly reach out to Steve too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do you have a deadline for responding?
Well, they want to do hangar inspections by May 6th through 16th and a response no later than April 30th.
On my inspection,
Well, then next month isn't gonna work, is it?
No, next month will not.
Is that unusual for them to come into an actual property?
I don't think that they could get access to every single one of the hangars. Simply because, we own shares, we don't own hangars. And I don't think that's unusual, although, the complexion of ownership changes from hangar complex to hangar complex. It is the first I've ever heard that access to the hangars has been requested.
Well, our lease requires that the hangars are used for, 90% aviation-related stuff?
Primarily.
Our leases require that hangars are used for primarily aviation. So I guess you could say the most lenient way that could be defined is it must be at least 51% aviation, which, we'll see. But that's not what they're looking for, to my
It
understanding.
doesn't sound to me like
Yeah.
the wording of the letter that that's what they're looking for.
And the leases do say that the airport has the authority to inspect the hangar at any given time, but that's just the airport authority, also to my knowledge.
I'm also unclear as to the wording in this, whether it's access
Yeah. I imagine the reason they are doing that is so they can get a full, take notes and potentially help your case, I would assume. But yeah.
Or perhaps the opposite.
Yeah.
But you never know.
True. But yeah, if they don't inspect it, I guess they really don't have anything that they could go on. So I don't know. Good question.
On the items you discussed, I wanted to also add that the LED lights, that's a great.
Oh, yes.
That's a good
Yeah.
request.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, so when Boulder switched over to LED, I went down and flew it, and it was a big difference. Yeah, really bright and clear.
And that's a win-win. And if we don't happen to get the discretionary grant money, that's something that we will still eventually pursue. It's going to save money for the airport with the LED. It's going to give us a longer lived lights, and it's nothing but benefit.
Yeah,
for us.
new stuff with warranty, because you were working on signage lights.
Yeah.
Directional, and that was expensive.
Yeah,
shockingly
that'll
expensive.
be. So I guess I can give an update kind of quickly on that since you mentioned it also.
Okay.
In fact, I need to email in. They're supposed to be having all that stuff put together right now, the first part of April, they said. Initially, the quote for that was $16,000. I did a little finagling and found some extra parts, and kind of brought it down to $13,000. So, $3,000 off is better than nothing with some of the stuff that we had stored up and we could steal parts of and stuff like that. But that would also help in the long run for those costs associated too. So the initial cost for purchasing all that in LED, of course, would be significant, but over the lifespan of them would save the airport money.
Then you'll have all the extra parts to sell to the other airports.
Yeah, there we go. Then we can start selling all our old
see
parts.
See if we can get Platte Valley to put in something besides tiki torches.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, good Lord.
I swear that one's lit with tiki torches. All right. Anything else from your side?
Should be good.
All right. I'll take the air show. Sorry, not the airport. I'll take the airport. I'll take the air show. We have a meeting this Saturday at 9 at Fire Station 5, which is at 617 Barbary Drive, which is Airport in Nelson, across from Protos Pizza. Larger space, so we have some elbow room. I will go ahead and be reserving that for the next couple of meetings, although we do have to pay for it. And I did reach out to LOPA to see if we could get a hangar host. Okay. So LOPA has tables and chairs in the hangar down, looking out at your office past Dale Katachis' hangar. And so that would be my goal, is to keep us on the field so people can come to the meeting and then book out and do what they want to do, especially as the weather is gorgeous. And then the meetings are, we're pretty well through the rolling up our sleeves parts of the meetings. So now it's updates where people need help, where they need support. And so interested vendors, sponsors, donors, volunteers, anybody who's interested in attending to find out more about the air show or come give an ear to what's happening and be able to ask questions is invited. So we'll go with a larger space, either at the fire station or at the hangars in the meetings ahead. I'm proposing the next meetings. This one's April 13, May 18, June 15, July 13, August 10, all around the 14th, kind of sticking with that same date. The air show portion is, he's got a lot of things locked in. He's got a guy with an L-39 Albatross on the field that he got locked in. He was wondering if you needed any help on the B-2. Matt was wondering about that.
I'll reach out this week. If I don't get her back, I'm going to have somebody help me out with that.
Okay, and that'll be Matt. He'd at least know something more than I do for sure. And so it's, personally for me, I've got 3 different support vendors now because I couldn't get a hold of Recess Factory, so I reached out to others, and they've all just kind of gone quiet, haven't given me a bid, so that one's heavily on mine. So the air show portion is lined out. Of course, dialing in the time will come later. We've got Sticker Giant was our first official sponsor outside of the city of Longmont, of course, is always our big sponsor. And then we're still looking for sponsors. Donors, I did book the scissor lift for the Air Boss and asked them if they would sponsor that. So everything I'm getting that isn't thousands and thousands of dollars, I'm asking them if they'll sponsor it and if we can get it for free. And then Trevor did get the website stood up. It's longmontairshow.com. And then again, just looking for a hangar host, somebody that would have, you've seen how big the meetings are, 15, 20, 25 people if we have a pretty big house. But a lot of people stand, and some people come and have to leave, being on a Saturday. So first thing I'll ask you, does anybody have questions here about the air show?
What is it, Longmont?
Longmont Air Show.
The hangar hosting, what was that?
I asked Lopa, that would be to host the meetings on the Saturday meetings so that we're in a little bit more airy space than the conference room. And then I'd like to stay on the field or close to the field so that people, when they get done, can go about what they'd like to be doing on a Saturday instead, is their own air show. So that, I've got that request into LOPA, but they have tables and chairs that are available if you're a LOPA member, about 75 used to be.
Tables and chairs would be nice. We could
Yeah.
always ask Elite Aviation too, but I don't think they have tables and chairs.
Okay, yeah,
No.
yeah. We maybe could meet in the executive hangar. So yeah, we do have to pay for the fire station. It is air conditioned and all those nice things. So we'll do it this time, and then we'll keep looking to see. Yeah, yeah.
But we are locked in for the fire station for this Saturday?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
9 a.m. on Saturday. Any other questions?
Yeah, what's
Tell
your,
us. Oh,
what's your
go ahead.
strategy and approach to recruiting donations?
I have a sponsor letter, and then the sponsorship tiers, and I can give you that. And it just describes what the event is. So you just basically go in with what the event is, and that it's completely free and open to the public, and it's being run by a nonprofit. And so we got the money that we get out of the airport budget and sponsorship. And so in-kind donations, food, we like Chick-fil-A donates usually the breakfast for all the volunteers. Tara Menza's Talking to Red Frog Coffee for coffee. Sticker Giant donated 1,000 stickers. That's $568, I think it was. So when I'm asking for services, I'll ask them if they can. So United Rentals is about $800 for the scissor lift, so I've asked them if they will sponsor that. And then they get banner, they get shout outs, they get to be on the website, they'll be on our t-shirts, they get lots of exposure. But the selling point is that it's free and open to the public, and anybody can come. And there's they don't have to spend a dime there if they don't want.
Yeah. So if you know anybody that wants
Yeah, so it's places you frequent, but sponsors, great sponsors in the past have been car dealerships, people who really do that advertising and really want their name out there, people who advertise in the paper and really spend the money. So I guess we should go to Wyatt's Wet Goods because they advertise big in the paper. I hadn't thought to ask them.
Because it's the future of aviation, have you reached out to any of the local aerospace startups?
Yes. No, the startups don't have a ton of money, but I've reached out to the big ones.
Industries has plenty of money. They're
Okay.
here locally in Longmont.
I don't know them. So that's the idea, is that if you know somebody or want to cold call it, and so I've cold called a few for participation, and I'm not having a great return. So I'm going to go in. I've got to pull my astronaut ticket and get John Grunsfeld to push a little bit for me and get his expertise. So anybody that you know, I'll send you the sponsor letter. And it describes the event, the nature of it, and then it has the tiers, and just to give them kind of an idea. But our auto sponsors in the past were 10,000, like Toyota, and it wasn't King, it was Prestige. They were a big sponsor in the past. Sun Construction, about 10,000.
Yeah, I'll reach out to Stevens, I used to work for them.
Okay, please.
And the budget is,
Please.
starting to do a lot of advertising, and they're trying to kind of push themselves as Longmont's home center.
Yep.
So I can reach out to them as well.
That'd be fantastic. Thank you. I will send you guys
Yep.
the sponsor letter.
Do you have a list of people that you've already hit up so you don't have to
Yeah.
double hit them up?
Yeah, I'll send you the spreadsheet.
Yeah, Melinda, do you have money for social media promotion, and does your website guy do that?
So Trevor is one of the volunteers that always does the air show for us. I believe his wife's business is going to sponsor the website, the recurring fees for it. And then he's just does it as one of the volunteers. That's his job for this. And then what was the second part of your question?
Social media.
Social media is my intern. So my intern, but no, otherwise it would come out of the budget. And we haven't done anything traditionally that cost anything. So I'll get a newspaper article in lieu of that and go in things to do. And we'll use all the free avenues to promote it. We'll ask to be in the city line.
Yeah, and I would add that I've already filled out a communication forms with the city communication team, letting them know make sure they know when their show is and asking them what they can do to help.
Yeah.
So,
Did you make a social page?
We have we already have a Facebook page. I think we have an Instagram. Yeah, we have an Instagram, a Twitter, and then he created the website for it. So I can get you all those links and that information, definitely.
Okay, well, so
Yeah.
then, board members, for example, could all share,
Yes.
nothing, they could share the
Mhm.
social media with
Mhm.
their social media and with
Right.
local groups and stuff, and
Yeah.
since it's free, that probably
Mhm.
will.
That's a big draw. And then, yeah, just any place where you go to do business that you think that they would be interested in being a sponsor, they'll get a lot of name recognition and visibility in front of 5,000 people. So it's a great opportunity. And then the bigger the business, they usually will, especially if they're selling to the public, like budget. Sun Construction was a big one. We've had a couple of other construction companies that obviously were doing a lot of business in the area and were good sponsors to us in the car dealership. So the people who really embrace paid advertisement, and this is a great opportunity. We got tons of events to put up banners, and then we do the shout outs through the air show and the program. So it's a great opportunity. Did you guys have a question?
Yeah, I was gonna let Levi know, so I did reach out and meet with the Longmont cadets. They're all in developing. I'll keep calling with them throughout the year. And I also had Linda write up, and I also emailed them as well. The Coloradans are interested in doing their car show and participating as well.
Oh, good. Excellent.
So, I met with them, and then they forgot about the last meeting, and then they actually emailed me. And so Linda came up with a sort of a traditional roster of how you would do it at a car show. And so they're going to have their information. I'm talking to them this week, and so they're going to definitely be in the car show.
Okay.
It's their last show for the year. So.
Oh, yeah, it would be, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Seeing all things air show, I believe. I think that's it for now. And then the
Okay.
meeting, it's more updates. So we do have a working spreadsheet that has tabs for everything that you can get information. But I guarantee everybody that you guys mentioned, I have not reached out to or seen anybody say, hey, I bagged a big sponsor. So I appreciate you guys reaching out, because it's really that. It's knowing somebody. You know, you can go in cold, but it's better if you know somebody. And then anybody aviation related, aerospace, any of the disciplines, any spin-off SpaceX stuff would be phenomenal. In the past, we've pursued anybody. So we had, my favorite one to refer to is we had a vendor booth that was Longmont Friends of Cats. And then we had Tutor Doctor, and that's fine because we have a lot of students, and that is a better one this time. We've had like cosmetics and stuff like that. Not, we took it because we needed to raise the money, and we're trying to avoid that and go more education, exploration, the organizations that are a part, the FAA and the 99s and the universities and the space companies. And if they want a vendor booth to have a display, that'd be wonderful. And so that's really that we're trying to kind of dial in that focus this time and not make it like the county fair, which we've done in the past. So that's more of our goal.
Just the aerospace.
I think I reached out to them on their contact us, but I think I'm gonna have to ask John for some help, and for buy. I need his help on buy. Do you? Okay. Okay. That is appreciated for sure. So we do have a local astronaut if we need help getting into the. Yeah. Were you in the astronaut program too?
No, so we have two astronauts.
Besides
John
Vance Grant?
and then another John right next to.
Oh.
He's a new member. He bought a hangar right next to mine.
Oh wow.
And so he's also an astronaut.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
So I can talk to him too.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to get Biorspace, or he mentioned Pipistrel, some of the others, but I'd love to get at least one e-flyer at the
Yeah, I
show.
think it would be great to-
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I haven't gotten any traction, but I had to go through the contact us and the normal routes. Thank you.
I might be able to help you with that.
Thank you. All right, and then the annual report is the other item. Chairman Earl has been working on this, and we'll have a draft for us for next month's meeting to review. And then in the meantime, the board, any pilots on the field, hangar owners, and the public are all invited to contribute information to that. He didn't tell me where to send it. Can they direct it your way?
They certainly can. I
Okay.
can help coordinate that, or if you have his information too. I'll just kind of add to that. I think kind of the thought process behind that. Of course, there's an official annual report that I have to do, which is kind of a forum-like thing that goes to city council, and then there's kind of the nice annual report that we want to do. So we'll still have to make both of those documents, and I'll start working on that official Form E one. But yeah, I'm looking forward to coordinating more with Harrison on kind of his vision on kind of he wants that to come together and stuff like
Good.
that.
So for the board, the annual report that Levi does is very dry. It's a number of operations.
Yeah, it's pretty much a list of.
It's really a more of a financial operations report. And then a handful of years back, we were coming out of lawsuits and all the issues, and I think it was my bright idea to have it be tell the community what else happens at the airport, that they see planes flying around, but they don't know, they think everybody's just flying off to go play golf or something. And there's so many things that go on at the airport that either support the economy or support the community, like the firefighting, the business jets that are coming in, and then we have a lot of the animal rescue flights coming in and out of there based at our airport. We've got the Mile High skydiving team that jumps for the Broncos and everybody. So there's a lot of things that happen. Dale Catachis, Oscar Blues, uses their jet for Angel Flight, fly medical patients. So there's a lot of things that happen at our airport that the public just would not know when they see, a jet coming in hot and they don't realize they just took a little kid with cancer someplace. And I think it's important that we might as well use that vehicle to tell the public the other things that are going on besides just GA people popping and students coming in to do touch and goes. Then I was going to ask about the 4th of July fireworks discussion.
To my knowledge, I think that there's some talk about potentially doing that at the airfield. I think that's kind of the kibosh has been put on that because of the complex nature. So, yeah, it's in essence, the
Okay,
FAA
so they
said
have, I knew they I thought they
no. The
kinda
FAA
said no,
him-hawed
but
a little bit, and then they said
then
no.
they said no, okay. The only problem I see is people leave to go fly and watch the fireworks, and so it's usually active at the airport. Otherwise, the drones, that's appropriate, and that'll be the STEM Center, that'll be at our show. And opening the airport to something public like that is always helps. But knowing that a lot of people do fly out to go fly around and look at them.
And that was the discussion. We were initially, the FAA, and because I had been bouncing off, they were looking at kind of a comparable situation up in Fort Collins where they once had a fire show like right outside the airport limits, and they didn't technically have to, they let them do it. But yeah, it got kind of complex, and at the end of it, the FAA said, it's too much, we can't handle that, so.
I remember that. That was only a couple of years ago. That's since they opened the remote tower and everything. Yep. Does anybody have any questions about the air show or the annual report while we're on this? All right. The next item is the pending legal action and legislation. We're advisory council. And so we would need to, with Levi, discuss, is there something that we as a board want to make a recommendation to council, or not a recommendation, a request to council to represent us, and go on the record on the House Bill 24-1235. I did read both of them. The House Bill does have House Bill 24-1235. So that's the House Bill, and then there is the pending lawsuit, Louisville and Boulder versus Rocky Mountain Metro. That's about touch and go operations. They just came out with the noise report. We all have plenty of thoughts and opinions about. Just the noise level was less than a conversation, so but that's pretty much out of our hands. We do worry about it being here, so we watch it carefully, but I don't think we go on. I don't know that we want to be on the radar on that one. The House Bill had some deadlines in it that seemed impossible. I think September
difficult,
2024 for converting to unleaded fuel, and it was. no, I mean, it's not possible. And then, especially with the fact that the University of South Dakota, South Dakota, they made a committed effort and moved over to Swift, and they had to go back. to
Yeah,
let
they
it-
did. They had
and-
some major mechanical issues with it.
Yeah, and so there's, but that's good because that's great information back. Now they can work on that. And
So I can comment a little bit. So Sandy Cedar actually asked me to put in the comments for the city essentially on when you can fill in the comments when they put those bills out. And it's essentially what I responded was what you just said. Unleaded fuels coming, everyone expects it, but their timeline is unworkable. And they also, essentially, part of that bill require everyone to go file for a supplemental type certificate and go through that whole process essentially by September also if they want to file the plane. So it was, yeah. But anyway.
do you have any other comments about that? The board, the other issue was they have a 7-member board. They were proposing to
Yeah.
add 2 antagonists. And I just know how hard it is to get anything done with a board anyway. And so it just seemed like that would just put them in a perpetual loop.
And that's the comment I made on it. Also, from those on that board that I know or close to that board that I know, essentially that was feeling is they would be putting 2 people that would essentially just always say the exact opposite whatever the board said. So it kind of felt like not a positive thing. The Colorado Airport Advisory Board. Yeah, Aeronautical Advisory Board.
So as individuals, we can say and do and go and do whatever we want. It just seemed like it is definitely something that we all know, and we know it's coming and we're okay with that. It's just the timeline and then the installing dispensing equipment and and then changing out aircraft, changing out parts in your aircraft. And I don't know that they've solved the problem of it was valves that were being eroded. Has that problem been solved? Even that, do they even have a fix for the problem before people go retrofit and do that? So I don't think we're there yet for their timelines. So
My
I don't
comments
know.
was that from a practical scientific, standpoint, it's kind of unworkable from their timeline because you just couldn't do it. I mean, essentially, you'd be shutting down aviation from September to whenever that technology actually came.
Yeah, with an unknown. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would hope that the smart people who design the engines and come up with the materials have been working on this.
And they have been for a long time, and I've been following.
2 decades.
Yeah. so-
I've been following the fuel stuff personally really closely, and the issue has been they've had some difficulty with it, and then also just plain on production. Last summer, they had a big production facility out in the Washington area that they had a bunch of hope for. They were producing unleaded aviation gasoline. They couldn't make it and shut their doors. So just getting the volume of unleaded aviation gasoline to these people when they need it is a huge part of the equation that people don't often think about either. It's like, great, we got unleaded gasoline, but if I can only get 1 gallon every 2 months, it's not going to do me any good.
Can't even take off.
Yeah.
So who advises? Do you know who reports on the facts back to the legal? And Harrison would definitely know that. Who relays that kind of information to the people who are trying to put the bill through?
So the Colorado Aeronautics Board actually they have advisors and they have lawyers and everyone else that so they're definitely making a case for this, and I'm sure they're deep in meetings and stuff like that with the facts.
Makes
I know
sense.
I personally met with the director of AvFuel for the Northwest region a couple weeks ago. He just happened to be coming through Longmont and we had lunch, but he's also one of their advisors because he's been in the industry forever, and he was the one I was talking to about the production and stuff like that, and because I've been following that really closely for a while. But they do, the Colorado Aeronautics Board is being very proactive
Right.
about getting
Okay.
information, all the information they can to the legislators.
Thank you. Does anybody else have questions for Levi?
Comment more than question.
Okay.
So as I understand it, GAMI is most known for making fuel injectors for aircraft, is I guess the chief mixologist for unleaded fuels. They need a distribution Avenue.
Yeah.
Which doesn't currently exist.
Yeah.
Secondly, there's 240 some odd thousand general aviation aircraft in the United States. The amount of fuel that they use that dispenses lead is minuscule in comparison to air pollution just in the state of Colorado.
Yeah.
3 million cars in the The other thing that I read recently is that the lawsuits that are being brought against Rocky Mountain Metro show no appreciable lead deposits in the housing.
There seems to be, and of course, from my exposure to it and, reading reports and facts, there seems to be little physical evidence of any actual health cause, or as you mentioned, the amount of pollution that general aviation adds to what's going on in Colorado is minuscule. It's almost unregistered. On top of that, distribution, production just doesn't exist yet. Everyone's moving that way. But yeah, the timeline is kind of crazy in what they're laying out. A lot of what I think you see going on right now, especially with the court cases, is very political driven. There's a very strong, vocal, small population of people that are pushing political leaders to do something, getting into the realm of, I've been down this trail a couple times before when it comes to court cases and stuff like that. I've seen it, what's being done for votes or not, is kind of a good question. Whether even those politicians believe there's success behind actually producing as long as they're doing something, maybe, is kind of a thought process here. But from a workable standpoint, my personal opinion is that, it's not super workable. Yeah, not yet. It's coming. Yeah. Everyone wants it.
If
Yep.
you're interested, there's Gammy has 2 STCs that are approved by the FAA for unleaded.
Yeah, I think I read that in my day or something.
Yeah, so exactly. Gammy has 2. There's another one that they're working on, but it doesn't negate the fact that from a scientific perspective, engineering-wise, the engines were designed with that lead as a lubricant for high altitude and high compression, and they can't seem to get around the fact that there's not an alternative to be able to cool the motor properly because they're all air cooled. So,
Which is exactly what older automobiles fought
Yeah.
when we changed on lead gas.
But it's also an anti-knock additive too.
Yeah.
that's part of the problem with the lead in there is it prevents that detonation issue. So it's not a trivial thing. It's not going to happen on somebody's timeline. There's a lot of people who are working really, really hard to solve that problem. But we, as a state of Colorado, forcing legislation is not going to speed that timeline.
Yeah.
We, as a local aircraft community or airport community, had any indication that similar situations could occur here as are going on in Rocky Mountain Metro where citizens are
Our noise complaints.
crossing against the airport?
Our noise complaints are much less than Rocky Mountain Metro. That's what I would say is that not at the moment, but it's something that we should be conscious of.
We've sort of already been down that road with
I think
the skydiving lawsuits.
I think that really
So,
took the wind
it
out of
did.
the sails when they
Yeah.
lost all that lawsuit, and then it came back that they also had to pay the court
Yeah.
case
Yeah.
because it was a frivolous lawsuit. So I think that
Yeah.
the local community that was focused on the airport, that really kind of sucked the wind out of their sails.
And
But as we move forward, there'll be new
Mhm.
issues, and that's why I would stress that proper planning in the city is very, very important when it comes to the airport, and making sure that we're paying close attention to what's being built around the airport and good land use.
And I think we need to look what's happening in Boulder.
Yep.
Mhm.
So I think it's coming, and I think if the city has a vested interest in protecting the airport, the city council and the mayor needs to think about returning some potential issues in the future. If you want to preserve the airport, yes, I think it's coming.
Our advantage is we take FAA money.
Yeah.
Boulder stopped doing that a while ago, so they were preparing for this day,
Yes.
and so we've been preparing for this day by taking their money. And then we did have all those lawsuits and years of agony, and our protagonist moved to Florida last I knew, and then we did have one other supporter who used to come to our board meetings, but we haven't seen him in quite a while. And so I think at least the organized effort is gone. And that was really, their target was skydiving. And the touch and go operations are what's being targeted for Metro.
The new focus in noise complaint has kind of moved away from all pilots or these small pilots to it's been kind of directed towards students lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is not a great idea if people ever want to get on a commercial flight, because a lot of those guys are training for the airline.
There's some interesting arguments that they put against. They're like, well, make them do it in the middle of Kansas. It's like, that's not really practical.
You won't have as much experience with traffic there.
Yeah.
Do you want to make any comments to the board about the Metro lawsuit, other than just we watch and, or we're not going to make?
Actual legislation. Well, we had an excellent discussion. I think, at this time, not particularly. You so feel the need to write a letter or something like that, and to assist with any local legislation. I certainly wouldn't, discourage that. If there's opinions, particularly on the legislation that's going on regarding unleaded fuel and stuff like that, because that'd be a timely matter since they're deciding that stuff right now.
So Harrison did ask that we put this back on the agenda for next month. The
Yeah.
House bill, I think,
That's
primarily.
probably a good
I feel like we
idea.
just kind of stand back on the lawsuit and try not to get caught in the crossfire.
Yeah.
And then put the House bill back on to at least find out.
And put in for comment
yeah,
while
where
it's
it
still
is.
inactive.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we'll put that on and then watch for activities on that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Do we know?
That I'm not sure about. I was reading that, but I would have to go back and look again.
Motion passed on 8-2 vote in committee already.
What's the,
It House, yeah, House Bill 1235.
1235. So it'd be nice to track it and see what's.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we proceed?
They're looking at the date. Let's see if.
it just says introduced.
Yeah, I want to recall. I was having a discussion last year. It was at some part in the future. I don't think we missed it. Yeah.
Okay. If you will keep an eye on it, and then I know Harrison will be too.
Yeah, motion passed on the vote of 8-2, referred to the Committee on Appropriation.
Yeah, so it's out of committee. So which is not necessarily good for us.
No. Okay.
Okay.
I'll let Harrison know too, because he'll take a look at it, and then see if there's anything we can do to help.
Has the fiscal notice already been done?
No, it's in appropriations now.
So it might be worthwhile to reach out to whoever's doing fiscal notes.
Yeah, in appropriations.
April 12th.
April 12th. Okay. Thank you. That's tomorrow.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
Ouch.
Wow, that all happened really fast.
Interesting. All right. Next is final public to be heard. There is nobody wishing to speak, so we'll move on. So board, city council, and staff comments. Are there any? We've kind of had an easy flowing open discussion, which has been nice. Anybody have any other questions or comments? All good? I think we're good to adjourn then. All right. Thanks for being here. We are adjourned. All right. Oh, that
Do me a
is to
favor?
be signed.
Take a photo of me holding that check.
Yeah. So you're going to say that's yours?
Oh no, just might use it next time I run.
That's
It'll be a
right.
sign for the firehouse, Linda, for like the meeting on Saturday.
You just come to the main doors. It's the community.